In this lesson, we're going to be focusing on inverse of functions. So we're given f of x is equal to x over 2 minus 3. We're going to determine the inverse of this function. So the first step is to set this f of x to be y. Then we have x over 2 minus 3. Now let's make x subject of the formula. So because this is a fraction, let's multiply each of the term here by 2. So we're going to have 2 multiplied by y is equals to 2 multiplied by x over 2 minus 3 multiplied by 2. So 2 times y is equals to 2y. Then these 2 and 2 we cancel. We have x here minus 3 times 2 is equals to 6. So let's bring this negative 6 to the left hand side. We're going to have 2y plus 6 is equals to x. Then let's factor out 2 from the left hand side. If we factor out 2, we're going to have y plus 6 divided by 2 is equals to 3. Then this is equals to x. Now rewriting this, we're going to write it as x is equals to 2 into y plus 3. We're going to replace this x with inverse of f of x, then equals to 2 into, and then replace this y with x. This becomes x plus 3. And then this is the inverse of this function. So it's just pretty easy to find the inverse of a function. First step is to replace f of x with y, and then when we do that, you solve for x, that is, you make x the subject of the formula. When you are done with making x the subject of the formula, you replace x with f inverse of x and replace y with x. It's just that simple. Let's solve more questions. We have f of x is equals to 2x minus 1. Then to find the inverse of this function, we replace f of x with y equals to, we have y equal to 2x minus 1. Then let's solve for x. So we take this negative 1 to the left hand side, it will be positive. We have y plus 1. This is equals to 2x. Now let's divide both sides by 2. This and this will cancel. We'll be left with y plus 1 over 2 equals to x. Now let's rewrite this. We have that x is equals to y plus 1 over 2. Now the next step is to replace this x with f inverse of x. And then this is equals to, we're going to replace y with x. We have x plus 1 over 2. And then this is the inverse of this function. Let's solve this question. F of x is equals to 3x plus 4 over x minus 1. Then given the condition that x is not equal to 1, so this is to make this function to be undefined. If x is equals to 1, it means that this function is undefined. So for that not to happen, we said that x cannot equal 1. So we asked to also evaluate f inverse of 2. So but first, let's determine the inverse of this function. So we have that f of x is equals to 3x plus 4 divided by x minus 1. Let's replace f of x with y and then solve for x. So let's cross multiply. We have x minus 1 times y. So we have y multiplied by x minus 1. This will be equals to 3x plus 4. Y times x is, let me write it as xy minus y times 1 is y. This is equals to 3x plus 4. Let's take this 3x to the left hand side and then minus y to the right hand side. We're going to have xy minus 3x equal to 4 plus y. Now let's factor out x at the left hand side. So we're going to have x into xy divided by x will be y minus 3x divided by x is 3. This will be equals to 4 plus y. Now the next thing we're going to do here is to divide both sides by y minus 3. This and this will cancel. We'll be left with x is equals to 4 plus y divided by y minus 3. Now we're going to replace x with f inverse of x. Then this will be equal to 4 plus, we'll replace y with x. Then we have x minus 3. Now this is the inverse of this function. But we have to evaluate the inverse at x is equals to 2. So we're going to plug in the value of x, which is 2, into the inverse of this function. We're going to have that f inverse of 2 is equals to 4 plus 2 divided by 2 minus 3. 4 plus 2 is equals to 6. 2 minus 3 is equals to minus 1. 6 divided by minus 1 is equals to minus 6. And so this is the answer to this question. Now let's evaluate this. We have that f of x is equals to square root of 3x plus 5. So x to determine the inverse of this function. So we're going to have y is equals to square root of 3x plus 5. Now let's make x subject to the formula. Now we're going to square both sides, so that we're going to have y squared is equals to this and this will cancel. We'll be left with 3x plus 5. Then let's take this 5 to the left hand side. We're going to have y squared minus 5 equals to 3x. The next I'm going to do is to divide both sides by 3. This and this will cancel. We're left with x is equals to y squared minus 5 over 3. Now we're going to replace x with f inverse of x equals to replace y with x. We have x squared minus 5 over 3. And so this is the inverse of this function. Let's have one more example. We're given f of x is equals to 2x minus 5 over x. We have to find the inverse of this function and also evaluate the inverse of this function when x is equals to 3. So first of all, let's replace f of x with y and then solve for x. Let's cross multiply. We have that yx is equals to 2x minus 5. Let's take this 2x to the left hand side. We have that yx minus 2x is equals to minus 5. Then let's factor out x from the left hand side. We are going to have y minus 2 equals to negative 5. Then let's divide both sides by y minus 2. This and this is going to cancel. We're going to have x is equals to minus 5 over y minus 2. Now let's replace x with f inverse of x. Then we have minus 5 over, replace y with x minus 2. Now to find the f inverse of 3, we have that f inverse of 3 is equals to minus 5 over 3 minus 2, which is equals to minus 5 over 1, which is equals to minus 5. So this is the answer to this question. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my video, comment and share with your friends. Have a nice day.